Welcome back. This is Today on eNCA. The court case against 4 suspects linked to a 37 million rand fraud investigation into Mhlathuze Water has been adjourned until tomorrow. Let's get the details then from eNCA senior reporter Dasen Thathiah, who is in court this morning as well, covering this for us as you have been the last few days. Dasen, so what actually unfolded in court?
Well, Gareth, firstly, let's just park the one issue of the 37 million rand fraud. Well, you'll need a big parking space for that. That's a lot of money. But the issue that we're dealing with at the moment is around defeating the ends of justice and intimidation. And that's why there are 4 accused before the court. There were 2 others. There was a CFO and an administrator. They were granted bail fairly early on. It's now the matter involving the DG in the Premier's office, the CEO, a lawyer that's at the center of all of this, and the alleged accomplice of the DG. So those are the 4 that are facing these charges of defeating the ends of justice and intimidation. So today was meant to be the last day of their bail application, but because there are 4 of them and there were lots of documents to go through, the magistrate has now moved that over until tomorrow for a ruling. But what's important here is central to this issue of intimidation is the board chair. That's the chair of the Mhlathuze Water board. The allegation by the state is that the DG, Nhlanhla Mkhize, sent Sphiwe Mabaso, that's her alleged accomplice, to go to the chair and force her to stop that investigation into Mhlathuze Water board. The Mabaso in this case is alleged to have gone there and pretended to be an intelligence agent. So that's the version of the state. The defense says, look, this meeting did happen, but their version of events is completely different. They say that it was Mabaso that approached Mkhize and asked her, can he get in touch with the chair? But one way or another, he did leave with that report. That's a forensic report, a confidential report, and he's a debt collector. So this was one of the questions that came up in court about exactly why that happened. It's still a question that hasn't been answered. That's the question of, if he was there just to meet this chairperson, why did he then leave with a confidential report if he wasn't even a part of that company? But one of the other issues that was being unpacked there is what was the DG's role in all of this? Where did she come in? How far did her powers stretch? And what is it that she was allegedly trying to achieve? So let's listen to what the state had to say on that issue.
Let's come back to her position. I'm not going to, it's clear on our affidavit. We mentioned the roles and the duties of accused before. She is employed at a particular position in the province of KwaZulu-Natal as a Director General, responsible to do what? Overseeing all the forensic investigations in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. She's holding this authority.
It's not any directive forward.
She's holding this authority as a DG.
All right, let's talk about the claims then from Mkhize's lawyer, Dasen, that her arrest was unlawful as well.
So that's what they're saying. And I think the common sentiment among all of the defense lawyers is that the state has a weak case. So that's what they're saying. They are claiming that the state is making allegations without facts. In fact, they're going as far as saying that the state has chosen to arrest first and then investigate, which shouldn't happen. So to that end, they are saying that the case that they have against them is weak. So the one issue is around the arrest and that being unlawful. But second to that, the defense is also saying that Mkhize didn't have any direct control or influence over the water board because the water provision is a function of national government and it doesn't fall within the office of the Premier. But again, there are still questions around why there was common communication between these accused, why, for example, the lawyer in this case, Tembelo Mhlanga, was talking to Mabaso, who Mabaso also has links with the DG. So these are some of the questions that need to be answered. But let's listen to what Mkhize's lawyer had to say in court around that issue of arrest and how weak they claim the state's case is.
If it was not for the fact that this court was innovated with other work, and I want to put it out on record here today, that we would have asked, as we dispute today, that even the arrest of the accused Mhlathuze is lawful in the first place. Because on the state's own version, there has not been established the existence of an offense of intimidation, even in its own version. With the result that we submit today, as we will submit in due course in other proceedings, that the arrest as well as the detention of the Mhlathuze was unlawful right at the start. And it should not even be considered for bail. The court should be, quite strictly speaking, be striking off the matter of ordering that his release be given forthwith because of the absence of an offense.
All right, Dasen, just as I say goodbye to you, I know you touched on an earlier expectation for tomorrow, but just remind us what we are expecting in court tomorrow.
Well, the arguments have been completed. I mean, central to the state's case is the fact that they say bail should not be granted because prior to this, there was an incident of intimidation, and that was the incident that I outlined at the beginning of this crossing, and that happened in February. So that's basically what is hinging all of this on, that if these people are released, that they will intimidate witnesses. The defense saying that they've had more than enough time to do that, and they haven't done that. So tomorrow, we will find out which side presented the strongest argument, because the magistrate is expected to give a ruling tomorrow morning.
And Dasen Thathiah, you'll be all over that for us, as you always are, eNCA senior reporter with the latest details here on eNCA and specifically on today. But no doubt we'll touch base again with Dasen Thathiah tomorrow morning on the South African Morning.